Hey everybody, happy Monday. I'm giving the natural today. This is one day after washing my hair and putting curly custard. What else I put? Mousse, hair gel, mousse, hairspray. So it can stay like this. Looks pretty good. I'm wearing it to work today. It is a rainy Monday. And I have a bad case of the Mondays and I don't want to be there. So I got me a little hair clip to get it out of my face. I didn't even put my contacts in. I got my mic here on my glasses so y'all don't hear the feedback. How was your weekend? I had a really good one. Yesterday I hung out with my Jersey friends. It was nice catching up with them. Um, just for a little bit, a few hours. And my kids got to play with their son. It was nice. I did get I was drinking some Tito's and seltzer, trying to make the seltzer as flat as possible, but it caused me to throw up 3 times. So I'm not hungover at all. I got a headache, and I think that's from dehydration because I was just sucking down her water. Like I was like, more water, please. Um, so I don't have a hangover because I was puking up the food. I've been the same way for the past couple of months. I haven't worked out in a week because my lady time was very, very, very strong and it made me super weak. And then I lost all motivations and where I keep my workout equipment because I now have a maxi climber, a stationary bike, and a rowing machine. And where I kept that, my kids messed it up with their toys again. So I just lost all motivation. I'm going to get back to it though. I tend to notice that my mood is better when I'm working out, even if I'm doing like half an hour, and like 8 minutes on the maxi climber is more than enough for this big old girl. Um, so anyway, I want to talk about what's going on with Lizzo. Um, y'all know who Lizzo is. If you don't, like, how don't you know who Lizzo is? Um, but I'm not even going to talk about like the scandal in the court because okay, let me talk about the scandal. So she's being civilly sued, I believe, by some of her former dancers, aka former employees, for things that they claim that she made them do. But most importantly, the biggest things is the dance captain, the person who was in charge, trying to proselytize them and oh Jesus this and Jesus that and all kind of things. It's not lost on me that they were fired first and then this happened and then just briefly a person the person who's alleging this claimed it was so bad, but then once I guess the season or the first tour was over, re-auditioned. So I understand, I totally understand being caught up in peer pressure and all of these things while you're doing the job, right? And just sticking it out. But when it's over, it's over. Like you're like hired for a season. This is not your full-time job for years and years and years. You're probably working a tour or a city or a section of the country, what have you. It is not consistent work like me going to work for a 9 to 5, 12 months. It's not that. If it was so bad, I could understand sticking it out for that time period. You don't want to be ostracized. You don't want to get a reputation for, I get all of that. But I wouldn't reapply to do it again. I would move on to another tour, leave on good terms, and go try to apply to be a dancer on another tour. Something about the reapplying to me, I just was like, oh, okay. I don't know, I wasn't there, but just something in the water ain't clean with the reapplying and doing a whole video application of how great it was the first time and yada yada yada. Like I would just leave, like do my time and leave, pretty much. But I really want to talk about, so that a part of me is, I think Lizzo is starved for, um, I want to say not starved for attention, human interaction. If you watch the documentary, she does not have a lot of substantial relationships now. She did when she was younger. She had the band, she had those girls. I think she's pretty much on the island by herself, surrounded by employees who will laugh and will listen to her. Like, if you watch the documentary, she's going through a breakup and she's having a heart to heart moment with her makeup artist. Like, these are not your friends. These are your employees, and they'll entertain you because they work for you. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happened with her dancers, where she befriended them, took them to sex shows in the Netherlands and whatever, and befriended them. And then when shit went bad because they got too comfortable and started being unprofessional and it was affecting your shows, you had to let them go. And then that's when they're like, oh, but you took us here, you took us there, da, 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 da. But it was all good when you was working there. So I think it's a case of that, honestly, because I'm still a big fat girl, but I was a really, really big fat girl. I didn't do that because I don't have employees, but I saw it and I witnessed it. And remove employees and substitute coworkers. Like, a lot of big girls do that, and I did that when it comes to coworkers. I mean, fuck it, I married one of my coworkers. Like, I moved from Brooklyn to the Bronx. I didn't know anybody. I befriended a bunch of coworkers, and that was me. But I mean, it didn't turn bad because of that. Like, it's not suing bad, but it did dissolve after me and my husband got together because somebody else was interested in him and he wasn't interested in her. So then everybody picked sides and claimed that I broke girl code, even though they had nothing going on. And to me, girl code is, that was her man, that was her boo. They went out, or they went out on a few dates, and then I went out with him. But they had nothing. Nothing at all. And pretty much they only had interaction with each other through me. So I don't feel like I broke girl code. So that kind of split us up into people who were with it and people who weren't with it. So I could understand where Lizzo was coming from in befriending the people that she spends the most time around, because I understand that, being a big girl. But I want to talk about, so she had an on and off again boyfriend. One of her albums, the breakup songs, are dedicated to this man. And he had a relationship with a woman for 10 years. And she recently went on and explained how she could see how those girls are suing, because Lizzo is not a nice person. It wasn't a nice person to her. And technically, Lizzo stole her man, which I'm of the belief that nobody can steal your man. If he goes with this other person, he was never yours to begin with. But she claims that Lizzo stole her man. So, and how there was overlap. There we go. And how she would have appreciated, like, she's not mad with Lizzo because Lizzo didn't owe her nothing. It was her man, Michael, that owed her the common courtesy and decency to end the relationship with her correctly before going into a relationship with Lizzo, and how hard it was dealing with that and having to listen to Lizzo's music on the radio. And she's all of this, and she's Grammy award winning, and da 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 da. And let's be frank and let's be clear. These women are in totally different league characteristics, looks. They are polar opposite. I find Lizzo to be attractive in the face, but I could see how her aesthetic and her body is not the social norm standard of beauty. This woman is by definition the standard of beauty. She's light skinned. That's what people like. She has very beautiful features. She is not overweight. To me, she looks like a solid medium. She's well spoken. She's not ghetto trash. Total. Not saying that Lizzo is ghetto trash, but I could see how he was in a comfortable relationship of 10 years with her. And the consensus of the relationship is when he was at his lowest, he was with her. And when he got put on to Lizzo, he left. I always said there was something opportunistic about this man. And him being with Lizzo, breaking up with Lizzo, having the overlap. I feel he's opportunistic. And um, that was the consensus that this woman said too. Like, when he got an opportunity to be with Lizzo and upgrade himself, he left. And 100% before she even talked about it, that's what I was feeling. Because if you watch the documentary, it is as such. I've been a fat girl. Men like him are not checking for women like Lizzo. There is a certain kind of man that is into large women. And he is not it. He is not giving me that vibe. I've been to enough BBW club parties and promotions and ski trips and shit enough to know, like, is there one standard of man that likes big women? No. Does that man have to be big himself? No. But there is an aura, a look, a presentation of a man that prefers a bigger woman. There's certain things you have to do to be with a bigger woman. And just his whole aura is not that. Like, my husband, when I met him, I could tell he had never been or even hit on or even approached a larger woman. I could definitely tell I was the first one. Just the way he moved, talked, even during intimacy, just the things he wanted to do. I was like, you can't. You're interacting with me like a skinny bitch. I'm not to be graphic and put all our business out there, but a man who's been with big women knows how to move her, how to position her, what to do. We're not the same. You can't do what you do with a skinny girl or average girl. You cannot do that with a big girl. And I'm not even talking about out the box stuff and salacious stuff. Just just the way you move our body parts. Like, you're not finna quickly grab a leg and fling it. No, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna hurt yourself and you're gonna hurt me. It is a sensual, delicate, get that bicep ready to lift up a leg that's 50 pounds. Okay, that leg, and I'm being generous, that leg finna be 50 plus pounds. Okay, that leg is not 15 pounds. That's a 50-pound leg, you know? Or you want to change positions. Like, you're not quickly grabbing her by the hips and flipping her over. No, no, no. Especially a big girl with titties. You about to squeeze one of our titties, like, the body will move, but the titty will still be there. There's certain things you have to do. So I could tell he had never been with a larger woman at all. And it's giving me that with Lizzo. And now, if you look, like, he has no pictures of Lizzo up. He doesn't talk about her on her social media. He just seems so unauthentic. Something in the water ain't clean when it comes to him. And that ex-girlfriend putting out that video was very telling. It seemed like, from watching the video, it seemed like Lizzo knew that she would be hurting this woman and just didn't give a fuck. Now, am I gonna blame Lizzo for that? Absolutely not. And I don't think the woman did either, but it is what it is. That's what happened. Um, yeah. Lizzo wanted a man. Lizzo wanted that man. Lizzo got that man. And it's funny because now she's Grammy award winning, bought a house, went through COVID without him, quarantined without him, and then when everything went good, he was there. So it just seems, like I've never been used by a man before. Like they have been attempts for a man to use me, strong attempts. I could see it a mile away. I'm very generous. I'm very giving. So if I give you something and I do it, you're not using me. But I could see how it would go to being used. And I was like, oh no, you think you got a lick. I'm not a lick. So I would end it, whatever, just not talk to you again. Like there wasn't blocking back then. I would change your number in my phone to do not answer. That's the classic. That's how we used to block people back in the day, guys. There was no block feature. We just changed your number to do not answer and we wouldn't answer. And then over time, you would get the fucking point. So, yeah. I don't even think he's working, Lizzo's man. I don't think he works. So, that's it. Just be aware, big girls. Like, and big girls attract hobosexuals, not homosexuals, hobosexuals, homeless men. They attract that a lot, especially if you have multiple children. That nigga will be up in your house eating all your baby snacks and drinking all their Capri Suns and box juices and playing on their video games while those kids are at school or while you're at work. I know there's a saying, any man is better than no man. No, it is not. No, it is not. I understand the need for physical interaction, but get that nigga out your house. Like, do you get him out your house? He don't live there. Don't have him parole there. Don't do that because big girls are easy targets. We're usually lonely and craving physical interaction and intimacy and love, and it clouds our better judgment. We see the red flags, we know they're there, we ignore them or hope that's not true, and it's just our mind playing tricks on us, and it's not. And then you're being used, and he's out there doing whatever. So, I also think Lizzo missed out on that time you get of learning these life lessons because she's an entertainer and she didn't get time to live. And they say that with trauma, like when you face trauma, you're stuck at that age. And I feel like that's the same with entertainers who start young. You're stuck at that age because you're working and you're not living. You're having fun. So yeah. Lizzo, I hope I'm wrong. I don't wish bad on nobody. I really, really do hope I'm wrong. And but I'm not. Happy Monday, everybody. It is rainy and gloomy out here. My mood is low because I must have some ties to the sun because I get seasonal depression. I get gloomy when it's rainy. I'm Rosario Dawson from Men in Black. She was like, people cry when it rains all the time, and he's like, no, baby, it's raining. It's raining because you crying. That's me. I'm such a nerd. I'm not a nerd. I'm sorry. Nerds are smart. I'm a geek.